Hello everyone, this is the lovely Miss Dime, and I think I'm kind of gonna start a little series. Maybe I'm just gonna call it Real Talk with Miss Dime, where I just speak from my life experience. It's not gonna follow a specific outline. I'm just gonna speak from my heart and share a little bit about where I'm coming from in terms of my growth and my maturity. And like I said, maybe you all can grow with me. And I guess I'm just going to talk about, I'm going to call it the Dime Commandments. Number 1, thou shalt take care of thyself first. Self-preservation is very important. A lot of people sleep on that because they don't want to be considered selfish. But sometimes in this life you have to be darn selfish, because some people will just suck all the positive energy out of you that they can. Some people are takers in this world. Some people would just rather sit on their hiney and have somebody be their do boy or do girl for the rest of their life. Not me, not Miss Dime. And it does not make you mean, like I said yesterday, to set boundaries for people. You can't walk somebody else's walk for them and don't expect anybody else to walk yours. You have to have survival skills in this world. Walking around thinking that people are just going to be nice to you and everything is going to be wonderful is so Jiminy Cricket, Walt Disney, but it's not the real world. In the real world, people are cutthroat. People will take advantage of you if you let them, but if you keep your eyes open, if you keep your ears open, and you go into things with your eyes wide open instead of wide shut, then you can avoid a lot of things. Number 2, thou shalt have personal accountability. At a certain point, it becomes a little whiny and childish to blame everything completely on somebody else. At some point, and this is a point that I had to reach in my own spiritual walk, it's not completely a man's fault that I got into a negative situation. It is partially my fault for making a wrong judgment call, not using my noggin that God gave us. God gave us free will, and He also gave us a brain, and that is what it's for us to use it. It is never okay for somebody to mistreat, deceive, or be verbally, physically, or sexually abusive to anybody. But it is a disservice to yourself to want to be so desperate for affection and so desperate for companionship that you are willing to put up with and settle for less than you deserve just so you don't have to be alone and looking at the world through rose-colored glasses instead of seeing what's right there. Everybody who portrays the Billy D. Williams, Denzel Washington bravado is not genuine. Some people will just say what they think that they can do to get on your good side. They get in there and then they make your life HE double hockey sticks. You don't have control over what other people do, but you do have control of saying, I love myself more than I love you. I value myself, and this is unhealthy for me. And I can't walk around the rest of my life faulting everybody else who's ever done anything to me. At a certain point, I have to say, well, maybe I didn't use my common sense in the situation. Maybe I chose to believe a liar just because I just wanted to be with the person. I just wanted it to work. I was thinking, with my heart instead of with my head, and I'm responsible for that. And I don't mind at this point in my life admitting that I made some bad judgment calls in relationships and in friendships. And sometimes you gotta take yourself out of the game for a while so that you can mature to be able to pick people, choose people a little bit more wisely. I don't care if my circle has to be small or I have to be alone for a long time. I'd rather have people around me that have my best interest at heart than be so desperate for anything that comes along. Everybody that gives you a compliment, everybody that smiles in your face, everybody who appears to be good isn't good. And the sooner that people learn that, the less heartache is going to happen. If I wasn't walking around thinking that everybody thought like me, I could have avoided a lot of pain. I'm not asking, this isn't a sympathy post. I just want people to know that you can make a decision today, right now. You don't have to wait until tomorrow what you're going to put up with in your life and what you're not going to put up with. This is by no means giving a woman permission to mistreat a man. But if you have somebody, I don't care if they're a family member in your life that is not being good to you, that is not good for your emotional health, cut all ties and don't feel any ways tied about it or feel guilty for saying my emotional well-being is important. Thou shalt not be thirsty. And this is for people online, for people offline, whatever. Understand something. When you are coming into Dimeville, you left Earth. When you're coming into Dime Nation, you left Earth, because the average person probably does not think like me. You can't run up on me with a compliment or with something that you told 50 other women and expect me to swoon because of that. Let me also elaborate. Penis and vagina is readily available. Penis is regularly available to any woman that wants it. I'm sure that we have far more opportunities every single day than a man has, because as long as I'm a woman, there is some man somewhere out there that's gonna want what's in the magic box. I may not want them, but the opportunity is going to present itself. And my vajayjay doesn't run me. I run my vajayjay. So people sitting there talking, oh, Miss Dime, you're like the perfect black woman, and will you marry me? And if I wasn't married, this and this and this and that. Okay, I'm not throwing everybody under the bus, but the thirsties, the people that know that they haven't had some quality treasure chests in a while, and they just want to run up on the first person they see that looks good, or the first person that they think is vulnerable, want to run up on me. Don't play that game with me, because I don't have a sign, I don't have a post-it note on top of my head that says darn fool. I may not have a wealth of experience, but I do have enough common sense to know that there are people out there with ulterior motives. And especially for what some people would consider an Afrocentric page. There are men that come on here and they see me, and this is not a self-esteem thing. Don't take what I'm saying out of context. There are men that see me. I am clearly not light. I wouldn't consider myself dark, but I would consider myself in the middle of the spectrum. And I also have broad features, which I'm very proud of. And I have some kinks, which I love. But there are some men that come on here and they're like, she fits that Afrocentric profile, and she must have been dogged by men that consider her nose wide or her features to be unattractive. So I'm just gonna come on here and shower her with compliments because she must feel so left out. For those thirsty people, I am not threatened because I can't pass the paper bag test and there are women that can. I live my life. Don't run up on me with that school days good and bad hair mess on me, because it does not work. I was never in danger or felt like I couldn't attract any man that I want to attract because of my appearance. Just because you run across somebody who is not fair with pronounced African features does not mean that the person is necessarily rejected or feels rejected from society. If you are pretty, regardless of your features, and if you have something to offer the world, you will be deemed desirable. I never felt like I was undesirable, and showering me with compliments like, ooh, my beautiful Nubian goddess, I just want to drag you to the cave and procreate so we can have some babies that have strong African features, so we can prove to mainstream America how attractive and valuable we are. Don't come to me with that obsessive crap. And some of you know who you are. If your compliments are genuine, they're genuine, and it doesn't apply to you. But it does apply to people who have ulterior motives. Just because Tisha Campbell or Halle Berry dogged you out, don't come on here and try to get up on my good side thinking because I look the way I look that I'm supposed to just feel like, oh, nobody wants me, woe is me, I'm not light as a paper bag, or I don't have hair as straight as a ruler, so I'm just gonna accept anything that comes my way. You have to be on point to be in Dimeville. And being on point doesn't necessarily mean being attractive. It doesn't necessarily mean making a whole lot of money. It doesn't necessarily mean having a degree. It means having common sense, acting your age and not your shoe size, being a man and not a child, being a man and not an adolescent, having enough experience to understand that at this point in my life, I am not a little girl. I may not be a fully grown woman, but I am a young lady, and that's how I expect to be treated, and I expect to treat people with respect. But I also know that respect is earned, and I'm not gonna put just any man on a pedestal just because he has a penis. He has to be worthy of respect, and I don't expect people to put me on a pedestal because I have a vagina. If I'm acting like a B, treat me like one. If I'm acting like a H, treat me like one. I don't expect special treatment because I'm female, or, oh, I want to be treated like this delicate flower. You treat people according to their behavior. If I'm out of pocket, don't be afraid to say, you know, I really thought what you said or what you did was offensive. I'm not that fragile to where I can't accept the truth. Just be tactful about it. And like I said, there will always be opportunity for me. If I have to walk this walk in Dimeville alone for the next 10 years, I won't feel like, oh my God, nobody wants me. Next dime commandment, thou shalt not be messy. Just knowing when to open your mouth and when to keep it shut is a good adult thing. If somebody didn't invite you into their business, stay out of it. Just use your common sense and your intuition. Let God guide you into interfering in other people's affairs and then knowing when to back away. A lot of people are in big BM because they didn't know how to stay in their lane. It's a time and a place for everything. And thou shalt not stoop to other people's level. I can chop people up all day long. I had some good teachers. Thank you, Mega. Thank you, Afro Queen. Thank you, Saucy. Thank you, Grizzly. We've already established that I'm a beast, but there's a time and a place for that. I don't have to prove that I'm strong, or I don't always have to have the last word in every situation because I know who I am. When you get to a certain point in your life, you don't have to feel like you always have to defend yourself. Just let stupidity be stupidity. You can't shut people up. It's always going to be somebody who has something ignorant to say. It's good to know when to fight your battles and when to just put the sword away. Believe me, if I'm going to war, I'm coming with my AK-47s. I'm coming with my grenades. Oh, it's on. Don't expect me to come to war with a butter knife. But everything shouldn't be a battle. At some point, it's just like, I'm better than you, in the sense of I'm not going to put myself on a child level when I know I'm an adult. I know better, and when you know better, you should do better. I'm not going to get on that low down, dirty, grimy level with somebody when I know I'm better than that. But believe me, I can defend myself, but there are certain times, where it's unnecessary. Ignorance is bliss, and I have no problem with letting some people just be ignorant. Because as long as there's smart people in this world, as long as there's people with common sense, there's going to be people who don't have common sense. Thou shalt keep it real. There are so many people who feel like they have to put on a facade and go into a phone booth and morph into whoever, do some type of transformer mystique type crap on somebody just so that they can be accepted or fit in. I don't need anybody playing characters with me, because I'm certainly not going to play characters with anybody else. I'm an adult, and I just feel time out for that. Eventually the real you shines through, and whoever is in your life will have to accept you for who you are. If you can't accept that, then you know what I said in the last video. You know what? Go to the store, buy a Magnum, and F yourself on a firm Serta mattress. That is the point that I've reached at this time. Don't lie to me, because what doesn't come out in the rinse will come out in the wash. I'm not gonna do no detective, inspector, gadget, private eye type of stuff trying to find out if somebody's being honest with me. Eventually the truth will come out, and I don't have time for liars in my life. When I don't return your phone calls, when I don't associate with you, that's why. You know why. So there's no need to have extra dialogue. Thou shalt be assertive. You don't always have to fold your hands and be docile and be, everything is flowers and stars to be considered a lady. I'm a lady, but I know when to bring the brass knuckles out and when to put them away. And saying no and being firm in no doesn't make me attitudinal. It doesn't make me mean. It doesn't make me a B. It means I'm assertive. I know how to state my position and be firm in my position without being ugly to people. My intent is not to emasculate anybody, but if somebody is threatened by me saying no, it's clearly a testosterone issue and not a dime issue. I am not going to twist and contort my personality around anybody's insecurities. I'm just not willing to do that. And as thou shalt not intimidate me, and this is particularly geared towards women. I am not in competition with anybody. I don't choose to compete with anybody for any man, any whatever it is. I'm living my life and doing me. I'm not trying to do somebody else's life or walk somebody else's walk. I'm not in danger. I don't feel like every time a woman comes around that's pretty, oh, I have to feel insecure and I have to try to checkmate somebody. I have a lot of friends who are extremely beautiful people, and I don't feel intimidated. I don't feel threatened by any of them, because when you know who you are and you know what you contribute to the world, other people, particularly other women, are not threats to you. I see it as a challenge and a motivator for me to get better. Hang around some people who are on point. I don't mind congratulating or complimenting the next woman. It doesn't take anything away from me or from who I am. I know what I have. I know what I contribute to the world. I know that I have more than just a pretty face and a nice shape and other things. I have value to a man, and my stance in this world is not going to be determined by what somebody else thinks of me. And that is going to be it for this portion of it. I will probably do a part 2 later on. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.